first question I want to ask about Opcity is, I mean, number one, starting with you, Charlotte, do you feel like it's worthwhile for agents to sign up with Opcity?
Oh, absolutely.
And why?
Well, I mean, it's as far as for me, I mean, especially if you're a new agent, it's just gonna give you an opportunity to, learn the lease system and, I don't know, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to, that's my opinion.
Well, it gets a really bad rap. I mean, I talk to agents from Birmingham South, and a lot of them say, it's just not worthwhile. The leads don't pan out. The leads aren't a high enough price point, but more often than not, it's just like they're just kind of junk leads.
Well, I have gotten a few that's, of course, by the time they come to you, some of them, they've had to go through a trail of questions from the Opcity side. So then you have to change I guess they're kind of aggravated, some of them were. And yeah, they've not been pretty afraid, but then that's when I start just talking to them like a normal, I'm treating like a lead. Okay, well then, what is their interest, and what their ideas are, and then I try to work with them as far as getting pre-approved. Some of them are low point, but then I always just try to build a relationship with them. I had a condo a lady that bought a low condo, more than what I think she thought she was approved for $300,000. She ended up going for $200,000. But now we're in the market looking for her relative one. So I mean, you just got to build a relationship. You can't always just look at that price point if they're low, because you still got to build that relationship with them. They might not can buy right now, but they've got family and friends that might can, and you just have to look at it at that point of view.
Well, I think that's a really important point of view for real estate agents to hear, that it's not necessarily about the value of the real estate transaction.
Right.
It's about the value of the relationship.
Right. Building a relationship with them. My first Opcity lead was a automobile, and then something happened in their family, and I actually relisted it and sold it again. So they were returning clients. We purchased, then life hit them. They need to sell. They call me, now I sold it. So I mean, just build a relationship with them is what I do, any of them.
I mean, you don't pay anything for it. So I mean, for instance, I'm paying for Realtor.com leads, and I think that the Opcity leads are superior, and you feel a lot less frustrated if you didn't pay for it. But the deal is, if you sign up for it, you have to have a system and get ready for it, because anybody can download the app and get the ding and jump on the phone, but you have to be able to take it to the next level, because for instance, I've won 131 were already claimed, 76 have expired. That means I didn't get to it in time. But I don't know, I've closed quite a bit. I think I've closed almost $4 million in Opcity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, so you gotta kiss a lot of frogs, but you're not paying to kiss them. So when you get on the phone, you gotta be able to move fast. So I guess my thing is, I see where people don't really like it if they're not in that mindset. But if you're hungry, you're aggressive, and at certain times you're like, hey, I'm doing this work, whatever, I'm gonna have my phone ready, and when it dings, I'm gonna jump on it, I'm gonna do my best to do that LP mama thing, connect with them, whatever. And I mean, sometimes information's wrong, but what's really nice is it's a warm handover. So when you get the lead, they've already talked to them and done some of the legwork, versus a Realtor.com lead that you pay for. You're competing with other agents, you're trying to get to them, they're getting bombarded with other people. So at least if you want it, they're not having that experience. So I feel like you're already in a better position. But certainly you get some that are dogs or whatever, or not great, but that's just part of leads. I mean, so I think a lot of it is just being prepared once you get them on the phone and having control of it. You have to get your system so that when you get on the phone with them, you don't seem like you know nothing about the property they're looking for. So, so when you win it, they immediately release that information. You see who it is, you see what property they're looking for. So while they're trying to get them on the phone with you, you got to try to, if you can, look it up real quick and screenshot it, or do whatever you can to have something so you don't just sound like you're clueless. Because a lot of times they think they're going to be put on the phone with a listing agent. So I think half the battle is just winning it, but then you got to take it to the next level, because you've got to be able to close that gap and make them feel comfortable and connect with them in a way, or it's a waste of time. So I could see where if you're not approaching it the right way, it is a waste of time.
Okay, so just making sure everybody's tracking and that our viewers are tracking. Charlotte, not necessarily the price point of the lead. It's about the value of the relationship, and then I will add, it's about the lifetime value of the relationship. I mean, what we're doing here is we're attacking, like head on, real estate mental blocks. I mean, real estate agents are very short-sighted. They're not thinking about the long term, they're not playing the long game, they're playing the short game, and they're just looking at it from a transactional perspective. And if you keep doing that, you're gonna keep bumping your head against the wall in real estate. If you keep a transactional focus and don't change your focus to relational, you're gonna have a problem. The second thing is Heather's talking about systems and processes. What she's really saying, like I think that the point here is preparation. Okay, like the key word is preparation. So it's no different if you get a sign call, or if you get the Opcity ding on your phone, or if somebody walks into an open house. You need to be prepared on how to act, what to say, what are the next steps. You know, is there a call to action? Do you need to close? Is there an offer there? What's your offer? Is it an attractive offer? You need to be thinking about that. But you also need to have a script. So Charlotte we could cancel this class and go right into a script practice and role play training, and she would go head to head with me on that. So knowing your scripts, that's really important. So Heather's like, I know what to say. I know how to talk to these people. I know the questions to ask. Okay, Jonathan?
Well, I would just echo what both of them said. It's about, first it dings and you grab that, but then when they're on the phone with you, if you don't, exactly what you said, I keep RPR open on my phone all the time. So as soon as that opens up, I copy that address, throw it in RPR. I can tell them everything that's about that property that's off the MLS. So, because their clients, what they want. They want to know about the property and they want to see it now, or they already know when they want to look at it. So it's about being available and being able to communicate with them and tell them about the property and maybe other properties that are similar to it. And then going out and showing them the property, treating them like you would any other client that comes in to talk to you. And I think that's where the big thing comes in, and having those systems in place that continues to communicate with them and talk to them throughout the time frame.
Yeah.
Being confident, because I mean, I know in the beginning when I first get them, you get that adrenaline rush. It's like, whoo, here we go. And then, I was like, okay, I've got to be prepared. So I put a little thing together, and then, over time, then I got more and more confident. But at first, it was just like, literally like adrenaline rush, that ding, like Pavlov's dog. I'm like, here we go. And then I realized that, okay, let's calm down here. And then if I know that I can't service an Opcity lead, I'll put it on snooze, because I don't have the self-control to not still want to go for it, like if I'm doing something with my family. So I just like, okay, I need to turn this off, because I don't know, it gets addictive. But I will follow what Charlotte's saying is it becomes relational very quickly if you do a good job, because they think that they're being connected with someone that has all the information at their fingertips at that moment. And if you can give them that sense of trust and confidence pretty quickly, you have the opportunity to build a relationship. I've got multiple clients that I've sold multiple properties to that I got through Opcity that are now like friends, relationships, and that I keep in contact with. So, I mean, percentage wise, maybe it's not a huge number, but the fact that I have 2 or 3 people that have sent me multiple deals more than, pays for all those, $50,000 lots or whatever it may be, and over time, I mean, you can change it, the filters and things. I mean, you have a lot of control over it, but it's kind of like a gamble, and that may not be for everyone, but I'm like, why not? I've gotten a great return on my investment of 0.
Right.
I
do want to dig a little, or get specific about the kind of snowballing transactions that have happened for you.
Mm-hmm.
But before I do, I have just a real quick question for Jonathan. Why RPR over home snap? Is there any reason?
I think because when I first started, RPR was there for me. So, and I didn't have home snap, so I got used to using it. I have both on my phone, but I tend to click RPR before I do home snap.
Okay, so it's key. So I'm thinking like, all right, so you got mindset, you got your preparation, systems, processes, scripts, and then you've got supporting tools that are on your phone to help you when that ding goes off. But Heather, so unpack a few of these. Like you close an Opcity, and then it turned into this, and then it turned into this, and then it turned into this. Like, what's the biggest success story there that it just kind of snowballed into something like several opportunities.
Well, I have a client who, I mean, she's really now a friend that's from California, and we got connected, and we put in an offer, you know, an Opcity. We put it, we didn't find anything on the call that day, but then I followed back up with her like, hey, you know, so within a few days or so, I got on the phone with her and say, I really want to talk more with you about what you're really looking for. You know, we had that initial conversation, and it just so happened, she's like, well, you know, there's this one that just popped up, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's been on just for a few hours. So we wrote an offer, you know, got it accepted. It was super competitive. You know, we just built this kind of rapport, like, you want to do it kind of thing. And so then we built, you know, this trust, and then from there, you know, I've already bought, we just closed a house in Mobile. She'd never even been to Mobile before. She, you know, she trusted my, you know, thoughts on that. We closed, well, before that we closed another one at the beach that originally started that conversation, so in Gulf Shores. And then she trusts me enough that she's asked me, where else should I invest? I said, you know, how about Mobile? And we also have another new construction under contract right now. So that's off of, you know, and she was one of my first, I mean, there's one other one that we have, but this was one of my first, you know, real successes. And and then I have another family. I got a ding one Saturday morning. I went down, jumped in my car, drove down the beach to show a condo. We did a multiple offer. We did an escalation clause. So now their whole family is like, oh my gosh, she's like, we won this thing. So they've told all their children. So I'm selling the second home to one of their children now. So that's 3 transactions off that one call off Opcity. So there's 2 people that have 3 deals off of. And then I've got, you know, New Year's, one of my Opcities that I sold a $700,000 condo to, never met her before. But I don't know, I just think a lot of it is just, even though a lot of these people I never lay eyes on until they've already probably gone under contract, we become like, we bond over the phone. It's like, I mean, there are people I've never met, but that by the time they do come here, I feel like we're old pals, you know? And it's just building that relationship.
The thing you said about snoozing it, that also protects your rating, right? I mean, because you don't want to not.
Correct.
I think so, yeah, because I'm not missing them. You know, I'm not, first of all, they say not to skip it. Like, you know, you either want to wait a few minutes and then hit it, but you don't want to skip it like, oh, I don't like that one. You know what I mean? That's what I'm told. But I would rather just snooze it at certain times because I don't want to be put in a situation where, you know, I'm not available to actually have that good conversation, because otherwise it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or it will go expired. You don't want that on you either. You know, that it's just you didn't do anything with it.
Right.
So, but I'm like her. I'll snooze it because it's very tempting that you want to hurry up and see if you can't grab it. And then once it says you've won, then that's when you get time to get it together, figure out which property, because they have the address and zip code or whatever they're looking for. But I want to follow up what she said. My second closing, we ended up buying a $200,000 condo. Then the next year we decided to sell it, so I just sold that one, and she purchased one in Fort Morgan. I'm under contract with a $500,000 home with her now.
Wow.
So she ended at $200,000. She ended up being over $1 million client. Just the relationship, talking with her. Her niece that lives in Saraland now is looking, so it's like I've met the whole family. So
I mean,
just building a relationship with them.
Well, it's just a great thing that you offer. I mean, I've been in other brokerages where there are no leads. There were no lead sources from the brokerage, and that's just not the way it works. It's like you're on your own, get your spear, buy your leads, do your thing, and the fact that this is something that we offer is pretty phenomenal, you know, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what they're saying, I guess maybe it's a common factor with Opcity, because I think that's happened for all of us now. We've got, you know, that lead that we brought in off of Opcity that then turned into their kids are buying from us now, and their friends. You know, you've joked with me several times. I started from the bottom of Opcity with $10,000 deals. One of those deals that I got 2.5, 3 years ago just referred a client who is now closing on a $620,000 house. So it doesn't matter what the thing is, and you've heard me say that the value of the home doesn't matter. I don't care if it's a $2 piece of land or $1 million condo. It doesn't matter. It's about that relationship and treating everyone like their family. So that way they will talk to you and they'll communicate with you, and they're being treated the way you want to be treated. So I think that's just the big deal there.
And I can't tell you, I'm sorry. I just can't tell you how many people I've talked to in the real estate industry, but also in other industries, where they say the Marlins have come from the minnows.
Mm-hmm.
So working with
Absolutely.
these small ones, they've worked out. Who done it?
Yeah, and you just have a follow-up system with them. Like I'll put them into my database, you know, and then you have an app that kind of keeps up, and you've got to keep follow-up system with them, or they'll notify you, okay, there's in that little app, you've got a lead that you've not, you got 24 hours to do something with, but you just gotta have a system to where if you've already spoke with them, I'll go into the little app and I'll say email or something, a little word to let them know that I've done it. I don't put the whole thing into the description of what I've talked to them about. So you just kind of like have a follow-up system, because I'm working some now that have been in Opcity. I think I've been on it for 2 years now. That's not bought yet, but they're ready. I'm just trying to find the property. So we're communicating, but we haven't found that property yet. So you just have to have a follow-up system with them as well, because that app will notify you too if you don't update that out. But I mean, you just treat them like you do any other client you're working,
All right, so Jonathan, Jessica signs up for Opcity. She gets a $60,000 lead. She's very discouraged by the $60,000 lead. She does the JPAR math, and she's like, I just don't see that this is worth it. I got time, I got gas. What was your solution? So you've worked up from the $10,000 leads. So I saw, I get copied on all the leads. Okay, whenever y'all get an Opcity email, it copies me, so I can see the price points. So I'm almost positive it was over, the last one I saw, or one of the last ones I saw that you got was over 300,000.
Correct.
So 10,000 to 300,000. What was your solution to finding value or being able to service low value Opcity leads and yet still make it financially worthwhile?
So, and that's a question that I've had several people ask, and for me, it was having an honest conversation up front with those. If the lead comes in, and usually if its value is under $100,000, by the time we as agents do the math on what we're gonna pay to process that lead, we're really not bringing in a paycheck. So it was, for me, it was having an honest conversation and saying, well, Mr. Buyer, I wanna help you and I wanna give you the service you deserve, but that service, it comes with a cost to me. And being upfront and honest and telling them what you're gonna do and building a value to that. If you have a value to what you're doing, what we do is worth money. Now, normally the sellers pay us. So, and I tell them, but in this instance, I'm gonna have to charge you a fee in order to make this transaction work for everybody. And in 3 years of doing it, I've had one person tell me they wouldn't pay the fee after breaking down what I was going to do for them. And it was just because they see the value, they know what they're looking at. They want to buy a home, and they know that we have to get paid. They want us to work for them. So as long as you've built that value there, clients will not have a problem paying you that transaction fee, as long as you're upfront about that fee. That's the biggest thing that I can say, is tell them right away. And then for me, I usually end that conversation with, well, hey, Jason, if you don't want to pay the $5.99 transaction fee on top of the other closing costs, that's fine. I will find you an agent that should be able to assist you. And then I'll find someone to refer them to. And you still have to pay Opcity. When your referral comes in, you owe Opcity that money off of that referral fee. But at least I've told them, and like I said, one person in 3 years, no, I don't want to pay that fee. And they buy 4 houses a year through me. So.
Well, I talk to agents a lot too about renters. So there's no money in renters. I talk to agents, the JPAR math is a blessing, but it can also be the curse. We've had agents who have referred, we had one that referred a lot sale, it closed, the referral check was $500 with all the transaction fees and client transaction fees and everything. She got $50. There was $50 left over.
But you get a client.
Yeah, so you provided that service, but what my point to these agents is you can charge what you're worth. You can charge over and above what's offered in the MLS. You can say, hey, I'm willing to help you, but my minimum, compensation requirement is this. But if you're a brand new agent, if you put out a bunch of content out there saying I specialize in servicing renters, and then when you talk to those renters, you go, here, I've got a $7.99 fee. Here's what I would do for that $7.99 fee. Do you want help or not? These people have nobody working for them.
Well, I think she said it best with the renters and the lease option. That's an option in Opcity, and 90% of the agents that I talk to turn it off. Well, I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to get a $199 referral. Now, JPAR doesn't take anything from us on the rental referrals, from what I understand. So if you make $199, you keep that $199. But in the long run, that person that you helped find that lease or that rental, I think you said it, is they're going to call you back. Nobody in this business wants to help renters. They don't. You talk to half the agents you run into, and there's no reason to help them. Well, if you help them and start a conversation with them and treat them again the way you want to be treated, if you were looking for a property, how would you want someone to help you? And then they're going to call you back. They're going to refer their friends to you, their family to you, the neighbor that's moving from next door out of the apartment and wants to buy a house. Or when they're ready to buy, they're going to call you. And I think that's where it is that relationship building. I think what you're saying is, and I don't know if, I think me and you may have had this conversation before. A lot of agents, they get into this business and they say, it's all about the dollars. It's about the cents, it's what am I going to make off of this transaction? Well, you need to stop looking at it that way. It's what am I going to make relationship wise off of helping this person? If I offer you the help and build a friendship with you in a relationship, then I've done what I need to do.
Well, I look at it this way. What else are you doing? So if you are not working with buyers, sellers, renters, what does your day consist of? I mean, would you be better off in your home office waiting for your phone to ring, or would you be better off working in the field with even a renter? I would think there's content galore there. Like when I'm out and about, I see a lot of content opportunities, and I understand that content is a big driver of lead generation, right? People want to look at your social media profiles and see somebody that's busy working, that's busy serving, that is a hustler, that they feel comfortable referring their people to, because these are people that will get the job done, right? That are problem solvers.
Yeah, like with my lease, it was a past client, she texted me, hey, do you even handle lease? I have a friend that needs to lease, his lease is up and they're deciding to sell. So I said, well, sure. I said, give me information, I'll call. And, so he called me and we met on a Saturday morning at the property. And as I was there, I actually went through my normal spiel of the LP Mama, and he didn't even think to even try to get pre-qualified. He thought that he just in his mind just couldn't lease. So anyway, that afternoon I had him pre-qualified. The following Monday, I had him under contract in a Jubilee farmhouse
That's
in Wheat
insane.
Place. So I mean, that's how I looked at the lease, was an opportunity. Some of them don't even think, they've been leasing for a year. They look at the whole picture of their finances and they're used to leasing. They haven't even thought about getting pre-qualified. So that's the angle I went.
As a real estate agent, you need somewhere between 4 to 6 income streams, lead streams. Okay, so you may have, you may be buying leads through KV Core, you may be buying leads through Boomtown, you may be buying leads through Realtor.com or Zillow. You should be. We're going to be talking during my class this afternoon about becoming your own Zillow or becoming your own Realtor.com through content and a content-driven sales pipeline. But Opcity is another one of those ones. Like, why not sign up for it? I mean, what do you really have to lose?
Yeah, nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You don't.
Nothing to lose and everything to gain. So what are, Jonathan, explain the 5 closings. If you don't have 5 closings under your belt when you sign up for Opcity, what does that mean?
Right. So if you're a new agent or fairly new and you sign up with Opcity, they put you on, and I don't know what they call the program. I've always air quoted training wheel program because that's what it is. And where right now the 3 of us can go in and we can pick the dollar amount we want to serve, the area we want to serve, the range we're looking for, and the different types of properties. They basically kind of limit your filters down on you. This is what you're going to get. And you have that until you have 5 closings. Now, it's not necessarily 5 closings with them, it's just 5 closings total. But that program there is designed to help you get used to dealing with their clientele, get used to talking to people, and get you a deal or two to close. And my thing is, once you're there, I think you said it too. Why change it? If you were on this program and this is what you had, and now you can open it up and expand it, but still keep this down here, why wouldn't you keep that and continue to work that avenue and do that? So I think that's the part that some people don't understand when they first get on the program is you don't have 5 closings under your belt as an agent. They're going to put you on the program, and you're only going to get this bracket of information. So I think where you were saying agents might get frustrated, and that might be where some of that comes from. They come into the program, they're new, so they're only seeing things that are $60,000 and less. They're not getting the $300,000, the $500,000 condos, the bigger stuff that we're seeing now. But those deals, to me, are where the longest lasting relationships are, because those are the people that they know nobody wanted to help them. And they're buying a $60,000 house and nobody wants to do anything with it. So by helping them and servicing that, you've built a lifetime client. They're going to call you back.
All right, so just making sure everybody's tracking. So you can, if you get an Opcity lead where it just doesn't make financial sense, you can go to that Opcity lead and go, hey, here's the deal. Here's how I get paid. Here's how I get compensated. You can even go so far as to really drill down the math. So you say, this is what I'll make per hour by serving you. It just doesn't make financial sense. I've got a family. I've got expenses. But here's another option. And do you present them with a document to sign that says?
So what I do is when we're writing the offer up, I bring that up to them in our initial conversation. And then when we're writing an offer up, I put that in box 34. Additional transaction fee paid by buyer. This is how much it is, and I make sure that when I'm sending that to them, that I tell them it's there, because they'll forget. You get this lead today. 90 days from now, you're finally getting somewhere on a property they want to look at, and they've completely forgotten that you told them you were going to charge them $399 or $599 or $1,000. I think that's the biggest fee that I had on one, was a $999 transaction fee, and that fee. The buyer suggested that number to me. They wanted to make sure I got paid after working for them.
How about that? Well, I mean, you think about I think about investors. Real estate agents don't want to help investors. They're going to run you ragged. You're not going to make anything because they're buying everything under $100,000. But it's the same thing. You go to them and go, hey, Mr. Investor, would you like to have somebody who's really dedicated to work for you? Do you want to know why you only get the rookie agents who have nothing better to do than to run around town for you? But same thing with renters, same thing with these low-level Opcity leads. I just want to make sure real estate agents know that no matter whether you're serving buyers or serving sellers, you can say, this is what I'm worth. So Blake is notorious for charging 10 and 12% off deals that are under $100,000, and he's making checks that are bigger than some of your like $200,000 and $300,000 deals because he's charging so much.
So he's built that value. They know that he's worth it.
Well, and he says, this is what you're going to get for this. And a lot of times he takes that big commission and he offers it as a sales bonus. He'll use that to beef up the buyer's agent compensation, and he'll explain that value to them. But he's able to service a client that is going to become future business and get paid handsomely for it. And if they say no, then he's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, we couldn't work this out. But think about how many agents cherry pick leads. Oh, I don't want that. It's under 100,000. Well, you've got options there. Contact them and go, hey, I want to work for you. I'm going to be dedicated. This is the service I'm going to provide, but I'm going to need this additional fee, or this is my minimum fee that I'm going to make. Make sense? Any questions about that? So think about that. I mean, we hopefully need to start getting to a place where real estate agents start to see the value of the relationship over the lifetime of the relationship versus the value of a single transaction. It's wild. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, are there any Opcity hacks or special conversion techniques that you guys use?
Well, I've got my system built out in KV Core. I mean, I use KV Core for everything. It's my go-to. So I have an Opcity lead follow-up that I run through KV Core, and I started at our initial conversation. I tell them right before we hang up, hey, thanks for talking to me. I'm gonna give you a call back here in about 2 hours. But I'm gonna send you a text message with my direct contact information and a couple little emails, and they know it's coming, and then I call them back. So that's, to me, that's the big thing, because you hang up with these people, and some of them, especially the lower end ones, they're already out looking at something else. So you call them back 2 hours later. If you can video call them, even better. That's my system now. I talk to them, message them, email them, and then I'm on a video chat with them if I can find a way to make that happen within 2 hours. Look at my face.
Time out real quick, because I think this is one of the biggest hacks out there right now. Doesn't matter what the lead source is, okay? Anybody that you are speaking with, so as soon as you feel like, I don't know about you, but like as soon as you feel like maybe there's even a tiny little bit of rapport established, I would say, hey, you got time to jump on FaceTime or a Zoom or whatever you want to use? Let's get face to face, okay? Because that is a huge rapport builder. So Todd, I know you hate being on video, but you know, I would try this. Hey, do you got time to FaceTime? Let's say it's your second or third time on the phone. Hey, I'd love to just get face to face with you. I would love to be able to put a face with your name. Do you have time to jump on FaceTime real quick? This is huge.
Yeah, and that's just, I think that's the big thing for me is being able to video chat with them. Plus, since we're talking about Opcity in particular, Opcity now counts a video chat as a meeting. Thank you, COVID. It gave us something good. If you can't get in front of them to meet with them, Opcity will count that FaceTime, that Facebook phone call, whichever way you can do it, as you meeting them face to face. So you get credit for that.
And that helps your score.
And that helps your score. It moves your score along. There is one thing I forgot to mention earlier, talking about the starting off on the training wheel program. You get a huge benefit out of that I don't know if any of us got. The highest score you can have in Opcity is 120. I don't know, I think I'm sitting at 116. I don't know where you guys are. When you start on that new program, your score is 120. You've made no mistakes, nothing to hold against you. So as long as you take every lead you can get and call them and work them, you'll once you hit that 5 closings, you'll be ahead of everyone else that's on the program.
When you say you built out your KV core, do you have specific drips that provide them information?
Yes.
Or, because I just think about this, okay? So what if you had a drip system, right? So for my Boomtown people and for KV Core, same thing, right? That's same technology. You can build out these drip systems. So what if you had a drip campaign for a new buyer that went into, hey, be prepared for multiple offers. Here's 10 multiple offer strategies we can use that set expectations, that talk about next steps. You might have one going, hey, here's a drip that goes out. Here's my top 3 lenders. Once you go under contract, it's like, hey, an automated email. So when you change the status of the lead from hot or whatever to pending, it starts a new drip and goes, hey, congratulations for getting your home under contract. Here's our next steps. Here's what you need to get to your lender. Here's what you need to get to your title company or the title company. Here's what I need you to be prepared to do next. I need you to research my top 3 recommended home inspectors and select one to hire, and let's get the home inspection scheduled ASAP. Like how much, we're gonna talk about technology this afternoon as a lead generator, but you gotta think about technology in a way broader sense. So if Derek, the VP of technology at JPAR, was in the front of this room right now, and I started talking to him about KV Core as a lead generator, he would get all red in the face. He looks at KV Core as an SOI nurturing and cultivating system, and a system that gives you leverage so that you have more time to devote to dollar productive activities. So there's a lot you guys are missing out on. There's like 25% of all the associates that are in JPAR, and you're in 10,000 associates, 25% of them are doing a deep dive on the technology systems. All, not just KV Core, but across the board, every tech tool that we have, as a brokerage, as a company, as a whole, nationwide, 25% of us are heavily invested in those tech tools. Actually know how to use them, know all the bells and whistles, and are saving themselves time which equates directly to money in our industry, but also is going to lead to referrals because no other agents are doing that. Set them up on drip, because usually a property drip is like, hey, if I drop the ball.
Well, all of my, like, so that's exactly what you're talking about though. So I have particular campaigns that go to my Opcity people, and I've broken them out from where they came from. And I don't know if you guys are doing that as well. I know you were talking about kind of making sure you stay in touch with them. And I think that makes a big difference. If they're getting information on the property they asked for, you know, I found a new tool the other day. I don't know if you guys are using it now, but when we get these people that call in for Opcity and they're asking about a particular property, well, JPAR offers, I think they call it the BMA, and you can do that. It's a little 3 or 4 page report. It takes 10 seconds to put it together because the system does it automatically. So now I'm adding that to that first email I send to that person on the house they just asked for. But it shows them what the house should sell for, and then how many other people in the area might be looking at that house. So it kind of gives them an idea of the competition in the area as well for the homes.
And how legit is the information that it's coming up with?
I just did one the other day and then did a full CMA on it, and it was within $1,000.
Because I've noticed RPR, you can't even.
RPR is kind of hit and miss. You really kind of have to dial down into it, but it'll give you numbers. That number that they give you on the left side of RPR, I've found is pretty much never accurate. But if you do a CMA, that CMA number comes out pretty close.
So where's the BMA thing you're talking about?
I will have to show you where that is. I'd
Okay.
love to tell you how to get to it,
Sure.
but it's down in the it's in our back end side that we have. I'm trying to remember what we call it.
Is it buy side?
Buy side has a BMA up there that gives you a little quick 3-page report.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I want to talk about this afternoon is buy side, and I haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know anybody that's using buy side to generate seller leads. Like we weren't able to have a caravan day because we didn't have enough new listings, right?
I actually I just dropped off like 150 buy side reports on front doors with my business card this weekend.
Well, I would just love if we could do this, right? So let's say this campaign works. If you would report back your results and go, hey, because I mean, that's why I do these Opcity postings in our ecosystem, is to encourage other agents to start using Opcity. Because if you talk to the majority of people, like if us 4 weren't here and these agents were here and they've never closed an Opcity lead, the Opcity leads they've gotten are all under 100,000, the conversation is going to be very negative. And they're going to discourage other agents for signing up for Opcity.
Yeah.
So it's insane. So I get a report, it's either bi-monthly or every week, of how many leads you have, how many leads you have, how many leads you have, how many you closed, how many are in pipeline, how many you lost, the whole gamut. And there was only like one other agent I wanted to invite on this panel today, which is Kevin Urquhart. And he's out of town. I think he's like snow skiing or something. But it's really y'all 4 that are actually producing great results and have big pipelines with Opcity. That's not a lot, So this is why this panel is really, really good. Any comments about that? What advice? Do you have any advice to agents, or is there any advice you would give yourself? Like if you go back in time before, like when you first started up with Opcity, is there anything you would tell yourself?
Sign up now.
What is it?
Sign up now. If you're not on Opcity, when you're heading down those stairs, stop at the front desk and sign up. You're missing leads. And I mean, I joked with Frankie earlier today. I think I said, don't sign up, because if you don't sign up, it's more leads for me.
Right.
But in all honesty, sign up. And if you need help, I know I'll help you. I'm sure they will. I'll build your entire drip campaign for you. We'll cut and copy paste mine, build it up for you, and get it working.
I need to write your book.
So that's the thing, is like I really dug into KV Core, and I'm using it now. That the buy side BMAs, I have a campaign just for those. Every little thing that I can find to market to people. But if you're not sure how to work the automation and you want someone to sit with you, call me, text me, email me, meet me here at the office. I'll come to your house. I don't care. I'll sit with you. We'll work through it. We'll show it. And thank you, Jason. This video, the last one we did, I've actually had 2 agents call me and I worked through their Opcity with them, and they've called me, and they're happy with the results now. So it's
Where are
just
those
work
agents?
the program. I'll have to look them back up.
But are they not with us?
They're not with us.
Okay, so this is just another quick talking point, is that by doing things like this, you guys are putting yourself in position to generate referrals. Okay, because I put this information all over the place.
Yes, you do.
And so you just never know who's going to find it and who is going to benefit from it. I've been on 2 coaching calls the last like 10 days with an agent in Kansas City, Missouri. I have nothing to gain from coaching this agent. There's nothing financial, there's no financial gain for me other than the fact that one day, if she's able to be successful, she might send me a referral.
Or thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
That's that agent that called me that I talked with about 6 or 7 months ago off the old podcast one you put up. And he's called me back in the last month and just thanked me for the help. He's now doing really well with Opcity with their brokerage. So that's what it is. It's a lot of automation and just working your systems and building that relationship. I would advise everyone, go downstairs, sign up, get it set up, and just start building a relationship with people.
What I like about it too is like, you know, there'll be days you're like, man, nothing's working, you know, I'm just really making all these calls, and you'll get like Opcity, like you're like, it's just like, I don't know, I just think it's kind of fun because like when I first got back into general, I was like, okay, well here we go, and it just was like that fuel to kind of get you back in the game. And I had brought this because I just thought it was so fun. When you get this sound, I just think it's so fun.
Oh, there it is.
Right, let me turn it up. But yeah, like, so when you get that, it's just like, all right, cool, game on.
Yes. I've even had to do I've had to put it in a while to make sure my phone was working.
I won
and
last year I won the
that's
award that said most likely to have in a car accident on an Opcity lease.
Speaking-
But I just think it's a great thing to get you going.
And
Yeah.
I was
speaking
at
of
a
the-
pool
of
and
the
I
noise-
squealed. I got a $1.9 million. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That little noise. If you stop hearing it on your phone, I don't know if you've had this issue. If you stop hearing it and you run the test and it may not make that sound. If it's no longer making that sound, uninstall the app, reinstall it. For
some of these
Google
phones
phones, for
have
some
that.
reason, they will remove the programmed Opcity sound and put it back to your text message. And you don't want that, because if you're like me, you get 300 text messages in a day, and I'll get to them throughout the day and answer them all. But that Opcity sound, it's time to work. When you hear that, it's time to work. It's time to go and take care of that client.